Presented by Fields Auto Group.
After back-to-back wins over the Pirates, the Cubs go for the 3-game sweep today in Pittsburgh and their 20th victory of 2016. John Lester taking the hill for the Northsiders. In search of his 3rd win of the season, he'll be opposed by Juan Nicasio. First pitch coming your way just after the bottom of the hour right here on Comcast Sportsnet. We welcome you in here to Cubs Pregame Live presented by Fields Auto Group along with Todd Hollinsworth. I'm Kelly Kroll, and last night Joe Maddon's club putting on another clinic. Holly, I think it was 7 scoreless for Jake Arrieta, 7 runs scored, 6 RBIs from different players. I mean, this isn't Milwaukee we're talking about. This isn't Atlanta. This is a Pittsburgh squad that's very good. What is it saying about this team right now?
Well, word's out. I mean, everybody around the National League's looking at the Cubs. They've got a bullseye on their back, and they're playing with a target, but they're playing very well with the target. We were just talking about this. 13 wins this year. Now, what do we got? 12 teams in baseball that don't have 13 wins. The Cubs have 13 wins by 5 runs or more. You saw it again last night. Jake Arrieta. It's money in the bank to some extent. I mean, sure. You don't look at baseball that way, but Jake Arrieta has been that good. You give him a little bit of a cushion at the beginning of a ball game. Jake Arrieta is going to get it done. Gets it done once again last night. It was a classic, convincing Cubs win. Timely hitting, some walks to go along with it, building some innings. Again, haven't homered in this series yet. They've had 2 convincing wins. Yeah,
Jake Arrieta expects it. The team expects it from him. And as we take a look at the NL standings, as we've reached the Star Wars day, if you will, May the 4th, and just 25 games into the schedule, the Cubs have already opened up a 5-game lead on the Pirates. The Cardinals scuffling along so far, 7 games behind the Cubs now, host the Pirates for a 3-game series this weekend. They always say you can't win the division, Todd, in April, but Joe Maddon's squad certainly putting themselves in a great position already.
I'll tell you what, you can send some messages, and they're definitely sending a message to everybody in the National League, certainly in the National League Central. Let's remember, Cubs have already played in St. Louis pretty well. Cubs have played in Pittsburgh pretty well already. They're going for the sweep again today. The message is out. Again, the great starting pitching. This team is really feeding off each other. There's one thing I keep trying to hammer home is how well this team plays together. The pitching setting up the offense playing it back and setting up the great starting pitching. And oh, by the way, putting our bullpen in a position to do their job is stress-free as possible.
No kidding. I think Hector Rondon, it's been a while since he's been in a save situation, right? But we go ahead and revisit last night's game. As we mentioned, Jake Arrieta, another tremendous outing. Just 2 hits over 7 shutout innings to improve his record to 6-0. He's the first Cubs pitcher to win his first 6 starts of the season since Mordecai Three Fingers Brown did it in 1908. That shows just how great he's pitching right now. But from the first pitch, you weren't exactly sure what kind of night it would be for the Ace, because he did walk the first 2 batters he faced. Let's hear from him real quick.
I recognized early that my sinker had a ton of movement on it, and it took me a while to kind of figure out my starting point, where I needed to start it to get it to end up where I'd like it. So I threw quite a few more 4-seams today, and it's kind of the same thing we ran into last start with Milwaukee. Kind of had to make that transition a little earlier because of the run, which is a good thing, but at times it can be hard to command. And obviously I wanted to establish early in the game, getting ahead of these guys, and putting them on the defensive, making them swing the bats.
Well, Todd, always a sign of a great pitcher, one who can make those adjustments during a game to continue to be successful, and that's exactly what Jake did last year.
Well, coaches himself doesn't look to Chris Bosio to give answers. He comes up with the answers himself. He looks to Chris Bosio for reinforcement. Am I saying the same thing? Are we talking about the same thing? And again, a little off at the beginning of the ball game yesterday. Was struggling with the 2-seamer, went with the 4-seamer just a little bit. These are things that come out of a bullpen as you get ready to start your game and you start to feel out what you've got that day. Again, the arsenal is so good. We've talked about it so many times. It's not Jake with 98 miles an hour and a couple of decent secondary pitches. This guy has an arsenal, has one of the best cutters in the game of baseball, has a curveball, has the changeup that he can mix in. Predominantly a fastball guy. We know that. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, eliminated the 2-seamer early, went with the 4-seamer because he needed some strikes, got the strike out of Freeze, and oh, by the way, got the ball back on the ground, which he does so very, very well. 12 ground ball outs yesterday. 2 of those came in that first inning that got him out of that jam.
It would be strange now to think about Jake having to struggle through a game, and we have to go all the way back to July 25th of last year for his last loss. Here are some interesting numbers that have happened during this streak. Since then, the Cubs have won 65 games. Anthony Rizzo, 23 homers, 76 RBI during that stretch. Chris Bryant has 101 hits, 16 different Cubs pitchers have recorded a win, and Arrieta himself has thrown 2 no-hitters while hitting 2 homers since his last loss, of course, as we mentioned, July of last season. Last night he didn't hit a home run, but did come through with a big RBI single, Todd, and his pitching staff takes a lot of pride in swinging the bat.
Well, they continue to do it. Gets a little backup slider right there and rakes it right through the box. They realize that in the National League you can help yourself with a quality at bat. It does not have to be a hit every time. Sure, we love the hits, we love the RBI singles, but if you can put pressure on a staff in the bottom of the lineup, and this lineup has done it top to bottom all season long, you can help the cause. You put the other pitcher, the opposing pitcher, in a pickle. He's in the stretch. He's having to make pitches, and you see right there, Jake Arrieta gives the great at bat, gets the RBI single, and this team starts to roll.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at today's pitching matchup brought to you by Bona, the original Italian beef, and it will be Jon Lester making his 6th start of the year, taking on Juan Nicasio, who enters the game with a 3-2 record, 3.33 ERA. Lester has been outstanding this season, 2-1, a 1.83 ERA, and that's 6th best in the National League as it stands. Last time out against the Braves, did get the no decision, but allowed only 1 run over 7 innings of work. Todd, he'll tell you he's a lot more comfortable this year. That's the biggest difference from a year ago for him. But what are you seeing in terms of whether it be mechanics or just comfort level that has changed?
Well, he's managing his trouble. What trouble he gets in, he's not panicking. And that's certainly one thing that stands out when you look at the numbers and you look at what he's done. I want to go back just for a second and remind people how good Jon Lester has been and throw this little bit of information there. By the way, he's had 9 consecutive seasons of 31 starts. And by the way, in 8 of those 9 seasons, 200-plus innings. This guy's a workhorse. You know, Arrieta has obviously gotten a lot of the attention around here, but Jon Lester is off to a fantastic start this season. You see the numbers right there, 1.83 ERA, 2 wins. We got to get him a win at home at some point. We might as well pick up his 3rd win on the road today. You see the strikeouts, you see the walks, and really that's what it comes down to, is managing those innings. I mean, you see how he works the bottom of the strike zone with all of his pitches and even factors in the slow curveball to go along with it. Love his cutter, love his fastball. He's got a good changeup. He'll show it at times. But again, he hangs out at the bottom of the zone. He understands what ground ball outs mean. And again, as I said at the very, very beginning, what trouble he's getting himself into at times, and it hasn't been a lot of it, he's shut them down. Runners in scoring position with Jon up against Jon, hitters hitting 143. I mean, that's just a staggeringly low number, so not a lot of success. You're going to have to try to find a way to get to him. A couple of long balls, but again, when you've got 4 starts already this season of 7+ innings and only giving up 1 run, it speaks to where you're at.
Yeah, pitching really hasn't been the problem, but the one thing that does continue to come up with Lester, his issue throwing to first base. Last time out against the Braves, he appeared to field a bunt cleanly, but didn't make the throw, and he said after the game he couldn't get a grip on the ball. To his credit, Todd, he worked out of the jam, but do you worry at all that at some point plays like this could cost the team?
Well, it could eventually, because teams are going to continue to test him with what you just saw. That's not a particularly good bunt, but they're going to try to force Jon to throw to a base, and in that situation, Jon, which he's been doing so very well this year, is basically saying, I don't even want to risk throwing the ball down the right field line right here. I need to make pitches, get back out, and he did exactly that. So you're going to see this. This is going to continue until he proves that he can get it done a little bit better than maybe it's looked at times. But so far, so good. They've been able to work around it. They pinch, they crash on the corners a little bit more with Jon on the mound so that they can protect him a little bit with that. But honestly, it's going to be a key to today's game. I'll play it right now. I'll play the card a little early. You're going to see the Pittsburgh Pirates try to test him out there in front of the mound and see if he can't make those plays and if they can't put some pressure on him to make the throws to bases. So it is a work in progress. We can talk about avoiding it and working around it. I've said it a million times. You can't steal first base, and he has done a fantastic job of that. But the National League will continue to test him.
Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Pirates starter Juan Nicasio. He's coming off a win over the Reds where he threw 7 shutout innings. Todd, this guy so far this season is really doing some really good things so far.
Great fastball. This kid, he's been around a little bit. I guess I shouldn't call him a kid anymore. He's 29 years old. He's a bit of a journeyman. He's on his 3rd club. But the story that for Juan Nicasio is a fun one to tell is that he has gotten to Pittsburgh like so many and gotten under the tutelage of Ray Searage, and Ray Searage has worked miracles with him. This kid's got a big arm. Don't forget it. Right, 93, 95 on the fastball. Uses it about 70% of the time. Has a very good slider. He's a bit of a 2-pitch guy. Doesn't have much of a changeup, but he really trusts that fastball. Clint Hurdle said after last ballgame, his last start, best one of the season for him, he was in complete control and command. You're going to see him attack the strike zone all over the place. I'm curious, though. He's had 5 starts this year, 2 of the 5. He's walked 4 and he's walked 5. We know that this has been the Cubs' way, testing guys out. And again, if you set set that up going into this ball game, and Nicasio doesn't have it early, when Cubs could get themselves back into that Pirates bullpen rather quickly, and that's ultimately what you want. Nicasio's a good story, though. He has really kind of come onto the scene with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he's kind of given some hope to what their rotation should look like as far as length.
That's an interesting note to keep an eye on. Well, we have to take our first time out on Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group. When we come back, we'll look at the lineups for both squads for this Wednesday matinee. And with all the injuries the Cubs have had so far this season, there have been plenty of guys getting playing time, and so far the team has responded. We'll be right back.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter. See Fields first. FieldsAuto.com.
They treat you like you're their best friend or your family. It's almost like they can't do enough for you.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We simply treat people the way we want to be treated.
I get a personal treatment here, and I recommend it.
It includes our free loaners, free car washes, and cafes. It's all part of the Fields Matters program.
I'm looking for the best price, and Fields gives you that. That's why we've bought so many cars from them.
Fields matters because you matter.
FieldsAuto.com.
What would we be without our mountains? Without the things that stand in our way, that make us better? At Coors, our mountain is brewing the world's most refreshing beer. Lagered, filtered, and packaged cold. Our mountains make us who we are. Your mountains make you who you are. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
No thanks, I have X1 from Xfinity, so.
Don't fall for DirecTV. Xfinity lets you download your shows from anywhere. Sign up today or get started with this great offer. Call or go online today.
I used to like that song.
For small business owners, there's never enough time in the day. Carly goes from cooking for 3 people to catering for 300. Basically, we're her back office. Whether it's having flyers available at her venues, banners, posters, we'll be here to help tell her story. And she knows that. Carly knows that.
From printing to packing, shipping to marketing, together, there's nothing we can't solve. Go to a UPS store today to see how.
Your old heating and cooling system is costing you money. Our preseason air conditioner sale is going on now. Get a free in-home estimate plus same-day installation of a new Lennox air conditioner from $24.95. Furnace and AC combos from $36.95. And receive 0% interest financing for 5 years. Plus, we'll beat any competitor's estimate by up to $500. Call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4-SEASONS.
We're back with the ATI Physical Therapy Injury Report and the latest addition to the list. Outfielder Matt Caesar, who was placed on the 15-day DL yesterday with a right hamstring strain. Ryan Kalish was called up to take his spot. Catcher Miguel Montero also remains sidelined with lower back tightness. And Jason Hayward day-to-day with that sore right wrist. Here's Joe with an update on his right fielder.
He's doing well. Again, like last night, I was going to use him possibly defensively or as a base runner, but as it played out when we did the double switch in the 8th, I didn't want him to hit, so that's why we went with Kalish in that particular moment. So there's different ways to use him today. I haven't spoken with him or the trainers yet about it. They're working on things, so I'll know probably like today what I think about tomorrow, like getting him back out on the field tomorrow or not. But I need to talk to PJ and to Jason. We've been going fine. We've played a couple nice games here. No reason to push it today. The Nationals have 3 righties and a lefty. Ross, Scherzer, Gonzalez, and then I think Rourke on the last day. So let's just not push it right now. Make sure that he's feeling pretty good about himself. But again, I will know more when I talk. I haven't addressed them yet today.
Skipper Joe Madden there before Cubs and Pirates, the finale from PNC Park. We welcome you back here to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group, along with Todd Hollinsworth. I'm Kelly Kroll. You just, of course, heard from Joe. A lot of nagging injuries for the Cubs early in the season. That list didn't even include, of course, Kyle Schwarber, who's done for the season. But 19 wins, even given the fact of all these injuries. I know Theo and Jed talked about how important depth would be, no matter what the season. I think last year they thought they really kind of got off the hook, Todd, but this year it's not looking that way.
Opportunity. I mean, listen, injuries are going to come. They're going to come to any team. Everybody's dealing with them. Sure, we talk about them because we deal with them every day, but it does speak to the depth of the organization, but I love to talk about it as opposed to what we're dealing with that's somehow a negative thing. The guys aren't on the field. How about some opportunity for the Caesars of the world, or the Baezes, by the way, who have really capitalized on the playing time. So that's what's good to see. This is going to serve well as you move forward. You're going to maintain hitters off your bench that could potentially get 200, 300 at-bats based on how long these guys are on the disabled list. We talk about it every time in the month of April. Sometimes managers are really strapped to get their benches involved. When you deal with some injuries, even though you've got all these wins piling up right now and everything feels really, really good, you're also getting this team moving in the right direction as a whole. You're not trying to find playing time for some of your role players as your team is playing great baseball. You want to keep that going. You don't want to mess with the chemistry of the team. But because of the injuries and you have to take them out, you give other guys opportunity. Certainly not a positive, but the experience a good thing for some of those guys. As we take a look at the Cubs lineup, brought to you by Wrigleyville Sports for this afternoon. As usual, Dexter Fowler starting things off. Tommy LaStella will hit second and play second this afternoon. Then Bryant and Rizzo. Ben Zobrist getting the start in right field this afternoon. In place of Hayward, Javi Baez back at third. Then Russell, Ross, and John Lester on the mound, of course. Well, this is the A lineup here. I mean, you got LaStella in there. You got some matchups. You're going a little lefty-righty at the top of the switch hitters. It's good to do. Nicasio, his splits kind of tell you a little bit of everything. Righties obviously struggle with him a little bit more. 148 in the season. Lefty 262. So you have a few more in there. But again, this is a getaway day. This is an opportunity to sweep the series. You want to get this win. But again, you go back to Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. I mean, that's the one thing about this team that's so exciting. Yesterday they go 5 for 9. You're starting to get that sense that Rizzo, I mean, goodness gracious, he's been a doubling machine in this entire series. But it's the way he's doubling. It's the line drive bullets that he's been hitting all across the field. Chris Bryant doing his job, getting on base consistently and regularly in the middle of the hitting streak. So both of these guys are on a tear right now, really seeing the ball and doing damage in the middle of the lineup. This is what I kind of sort of warned people about. They haven't played their best baseball yet, people. Yeah, they're 19-6, but the offense isn't like where it's. You're actually starting to get glimpses of it, and that's what's exciting. When you're 3 and 4 hitter, that combination becomes a threat back and forth, and they're feeding off each other. You really start to pile up the runs. Dexter Fowler, Mr. Consistency there at the top. LaStella getting an opportunity today. So you have some situational guys in there, and I'm real happy to see Javi Baez in there again. Even though he had an 0 for yesterday, had a stellar defensive game over at third base, getting that opportunity. And that's the great thing about this Cubs team that I love to talk about. They appreciate the ways in which good games are played, and it's not always about the bottom line going 2 for 4 with a bomb. I've heard so many people this morning already raving about Baez's defense last night, even though it was an 0 for 5 with a ground out RBI. It's crazy to think you'll hear these guys say that the offense is not yet hitting on all cylinders, and we're still seeing them produce like they have been. You mentioned Javier Baez, 0 for 5 last night. The big thing with him this year, Todd, was cutting down on the strikeouts. Are you seeing progress in his discipline at the plate this season? Absolutely. You're seeing it in the way that he's going about his at-bats and how he's using the whole field. I mean, you can't be a wild and crazy going for the downs every type of swing guy if you're not using your off fields, meaning your opposite field. And he's been doing that so far this year, using the middle of the field. So, yes, much better. He every now and again has that moment where he lets it go. He thinks he's going to get a 2-0 cookie, and he's going to try to hit it, across the river. That's kind of how he thinks, but it's also his personality. And in speaking about how good he's been defensively, it's that approach defensively that's made him stand out over there at third base. I mean, you think about what guys typically do. You got a couple steps to the left or to the right. Manny Machado is one of the best third basemen in the American League, former shortstop, and he's got great range. But again, he hasn't lost his game over at third. Sometimes you see guys, they kind of settle into the position, and they're, 2 steps in a dive one way. I mean, Baez, you can't test him coming in on the ball. You can't even test him going back on a big hop down the line. He'll throw you out. And that's the other thing. If you see Anthony Rizzo over there at first base catching that ball, standing up, he's giving props to his guy over there on the corner. What he's saying is, this kid's got a cannon. I don't even have to stretch for it. So you saw that a couple times last night. A lot of fun to watch. Baez's game is right where it needs to be. Yeah, as much as we love watching those flashy plays, I know Joe Madden will tell you he loves just seeing him make the routine plays as well, which he's also doing right now. It's time as we move into our Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. And today we're looking at Jordy
Mercer and what he's done against lefties so far this season. The right-handed hitting shortstop has six hits in 16 at-bats, including a home run and 2 RBIs. He's also walked 6 times and struck out only once. That's Comcast Business, built for business. He's certainly been quite the catalyst, Todd, at least against lefties in that starting role, hitting off the top. 4 games, 10 for 19.
Yeah, Jordy Mercer's having a great season. One of the good guys in all of baseball. Their shortstop, their starting shortstop. It's been a fun story. I got to meet with him a little bit in spring training this year. And Jordy Mercer is having the kind of season that he was planning on having. They've been waiting for him to get going offensively. You're seeing a very consistent approach using all fields. Again, be aware of him at the top of the lineup. And that's how Clint Hurdle's done this with the Pirates this year. If you look through this lineup, a lot of 300 hitters. They're still kind of waiting on Andrew McCutchen to get going. Everybody else has really been doing their part, but Mercer's the guy at the top. He'll use the entire field. You got to be aware. Very, very heady ball player, knows what he's doing out there. But you'll see, like Polanco against righties will move up in the lineup. He'll move down against Lester. You see him in the 8th spot today. Mercer will move up to the top spot. That's how Clint has done it. He's done a real nice job taking some of those bad matchups, the guys he wants to keep on the field defensively, in the game by moving them down in the lineup or moving them up when there's a more favorable one.
Continues to mature in that position. Well, as Todd was already taking us there, here's a look at the Pirates lineup now, presented by Wrigleyville Sports. Mercer off the top, Andrew McCutchen just 1 for 7, as Todd mentioned, still struggling right now. David Freese, Starlin Marte, Francisco Cervelli behind the plate. Sean Rodriguez 2 for 3 last night, hitting 6th in this one. Josh Harrison back in the lineup today, and Gregory Polanco and Juan Nicasio.
Well, let's not see Andrew McCutchen heat up. This guy can change a
not
game.
Today, right?
He can change the course of a season for a team. I've watched him do it too many years in Pittsburgh. This guy is one of the best hitters in the game. We saw first game a home run to right. We've been able to contain him, though, for the most part in this series. And I've watched him expand his strike zone. I'd like for him to stay right there until at least after today. He can go to work on the St. Louis Cardinals for all we care. But 221, not used to seeing those numbers against him. You know, again, expanding his zone a little bit right now, and I think that's what's going on with McCutchen. But again, much like he did last year, he had a miserable April, and oh, by the way, ended up with nearly an MVP-type season at the very, very end. This guy will get hot. Let's just hope it's not today.
Yeah, 194 in April, 294 by the end of the season. Well, we have to take a final timeout before we hand it over to Lynn Casper and Jim DeShays at the bottom of the hour for the series finale between the Cubs and Pirates. When we come back, we'll get Holly's keys to the game as the Northsiders go for their 20th win of the season, and you can catch the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Chicago's favorite spot for prime steaks, the freshest seafood, and world-famous Florida stone crab. Come on down to Joe's.
Wow, bear season was incredible, but it was absolutely freezing. So Wrigleyville Sports helped me warm up for bull season. They were on fire all year long. Then came the Blackhawks, and they got hot too. But now the boys of summer are back, and it's time to head to the south side. On second thought, it's a perfect day to get some sun in the bleachers.
Now it's in the hands of the bullpen, and out comes Papa John.
It looks like he's taking this official pizza thing pretty seriously.
For just $6.99 each, get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas.
Papa John's, the official pizza of Major League Baseball.
This Cubs injury report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
You're new.
I am.
Ex-military?
4 tours.
You work with computers?
That's classified, ma'am.
But your job was network security.
That's classified, sir.
Let's cut to the chase here.
What's your assessment of our security?
Porous.
Porous?
The old solutions aren't working. The world has changed.
Meaning?
It's not just security. It's defense.
It's not just security. It's defense. BAE Systems.
Attention parents of children with cerebral palsy. If you suspect a medical mistake may have occurred at or near the time of birth, call Science and Kirk for a free legal consultation. Financial compensation may be available for children diagnosed with cerebral palsy, Erb's palsy, or another birth injury. A lifetime of medical care can cost millions of dollars. Protect your child and find out what legal rights may be available.
Call 1-800-942-1380.
Sports Talk Live, presented by the all-new Chevy Silverado, weeknights at 5:30.
You're watching Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto Group.
61 degrees in PNC Park right now. Another beautiful day for baseball. First pitch between the Cubs and Pirates coming your way in just a few minutes here on Comcast Sportsnet. Welcome back to Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group. Northsiders looking to pull out the brooms today, finish off a 3-game sweep of the Pirates before heading back to Wrigley. Todd Hollinsworth and I taking you up to first pitch, and it's time to get Holly's keys of the game, presented by Fields Auto Group.
All right, here we go. The lead-off man. Now, I'm not just talking about Dexter Fowler. It's really how this series is played. I bet fans at home, you felt this, but you probably didn't know exactly what I'm talking about here. Cubs, not just Dexter Fowler, have been getting on base at an incredible clip, particularly early in the ballgame. In the first 4 innings of both games, 8 for 8 getting that leadoff guy on. We've watched this assault. By the way, the Pirates 1 for 8. So we're setting the tone early. Love to see that again today. It's certainly something that stands out. Guys have been getting that leadoff guy on. We're getting these guys on the mound in pressure situations, getting those pitch counts up. Both Neese and Garrett Cole, 100 pitches through 5, got him out of there. 60 feet, 6 inches. That's exactly what I'm talking about with John Lester. They're going to challenge him. Expect it. It may not be all over the field today, but there will be at least a couple testers today. And I would be really surprised if the Pirates did try to do something. Again, the way this series is played, they're going to probably put a little bit of something on John Lester there. Last one is getaway day. It's that time of year where you kind of get these games. I know it's early May, but getaway day, Cubs are coming home. They got the Nats waiting around. Don't let this game get away from you. It really is as simple as that. You've been doing this long, drawn-out at-bat thing. We're playing these 3-hour games. Yeah, we love them. We know we do. But the bottom line is this, getaway day, I know how players think, and sometimes this day can get a little loose. You don't want to give away at-bats, so I'm really hoping that the Cubs come out and get an early offensive approach going, get some runs, and let Lester settle in. That would be perfect for today's game.
Okay, swinging the bats. That's it. Now, key performers for today. Do you get to start this, or am
I do. I always do, because Cap's not here. I'm going to go Chris Bryant. Been swinging the hot bat. He's got the hit streak going, and I feel like that's money in the bank. So I'm going to go Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant. I'll go Anthony Rizzo for Cap, just because I feel like that's always a solid kind of selection, if you will. And of course, Anthony's been pretty hot at the plate right now. Well, we appreciate you watching Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Fields Auto Group. Lynn and JD with the call coming your way from PNC. Enjoy the finale, everyone, and we will see you after the game on May the 4th, Todd's favorite holiday of the year.
That's Trey's favorite holiday of the year. Trey, turn the TV on. May the 4th.
Laser.
Force be with you, buddy. Look at that lightsaber.
Oh, turned up my jam. I'm feeling woke. Oh, found our chill.
Close enough. Try the deliciously juicy Daily Double, now only $2.19 at McDonald's.
They treat you like you're their best friend or your family. It's almost like they can't do enough for you.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We simply treat people the way we want to be treated.
I get a personal treatment here, and I recommend it.
It includes our free loaners, free car washes, and cafes. It's all part of the Fields Matters program.
I'm looking for the best price, and Fields gives you that. That's why we've bought so many cars from them.
Fields matters because you matter.
FieldsAuto.com.
Introducing Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro with next-level speed, coverage, marketing, and control features. Plus, Wi-Fi Pro offers what AT&T's Wi-Fi small site doesn't. Professional installation, advanced security, and millions of hotspots nationwide. Looks like taking your business to the next level starts with ditching AT&T. Give your business an edge with Comcast Business Wi-Fi Pro. Comcast Business, built for business.
For small business owners, there's never enough time in the day. Carly goes from cooking for 3 people to catering for 300. Basically, we're her back office. Whether it's having flyers available at her venues, banners, posters, we'll be here to help tell her story. And she knows that. Carly knows that.
From printing to packing, shipping to marketing, together, there's nothing we can't solve. Go to a UPS store today to see how.
Yeah, I'm married. Does it matter? You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so...
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state.
It's the mesmerizing McGriddles. Try your choice of bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, or sausage, egg, and cheese with a small McCafe coffee and hash browns for just $4 at McDonald's.
Baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Great shot of downtown Pittsburgh. We're right across the Allegheny River inside PNC Park as the Cubs go for the 3-game series sweep over the Pirates. Nice day here in Pittsburgh. Great to have you with us. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. Let's get right into the Cubs starting pitcher today. After Jake Arrieta won last night, it'll be lefty John Lester on the mound today.
And John Lester coming off an outstanding start last time out. As a matter of fact, he's been good all year long. He could easily be 5-0. He's allowed just 1 run in 4 of his 5 starts so far this year. Really good against the Pirates last year, 2-1 with a 1.57 ERA, including his only complete game of the year came here last September.
Right-hander Juan Nicasio for the Pirates, and there's no place like road for the Cubs. They're 12-3 wearing the road grays. They'll go for the sweep as they get set for a 10-game homestand starting tomorrow. Javi Baez has been a human highlight reel on defense, and he is in the lineup again today.
And the #1 window and door company in America is
Beltco.
To celebrate this amazing
This ingenious invention will make your life a whole lot easier in the kitchen and a whole lot shorter and a lot more fun. We're going to show you how and why every meal, breakfast, snacks, lunch, dinner, grilled steaks, fondues, and buffets will be made perfectly every time. Because now, for the first time, you can precisely control the cooking temperature.
Now you can live well for less with the New Wave Precision Induction Cooktop. It's the most energy-efficient way to cook. The New Wave PIC uses induction technology. The secret is an internal series of copper coils. These coils generate a magnetic field within your metal pots and pans. The magnetic field causes invisible molecules to begin vibrating rapidly, creating heat. So the cookware itself heats the food.
One of my passions is butter sauces. And one of the challenges of cooking a butter sauce is that if you get it too hot, over 135 degrees, it breaks down. If you get it too cool, it congeals. The beauty of the New Wave PIC is that I can control the temperature exactly and keep this sauce for an extended period of time. That's such an added bonus for a professional cook and a home cook.
Let me show you this unusual pan. Bob, what do we do here?
Well, we actually cut a pan and cut a section out because in here you can see we have cereal rapidly boiling, right?
Boiling away.
I can put my hand right there.
It's amazing. Move your hand. I'm going to put an ice cube right there. It's not melting.
Because all of the energy is going into cooking your food. There's nothing wasted anywhere outside of the pan. So this is perfectly cool. So wipe that ice cube off there.
Okay.
All right.
Got a cloth right here. Watch this. I'll take this ice cube, wipe it up. I'm using a paper towel on a burner. There's no fire, there's no flame, so it's so safe.
And the minute you put the pan back on, it starts boiling right again.
Wow.
Now, because we're cooking without fire, Jenny,
I'll lift this
I'm going to take a sheet of play money and put it between the PIC and the pan. Instantly, it starts boiling again.
Have you ever seen anything like that cooking through paper?
So now we're cooking far more efficiently. We're saving 40 to 50% of the energy.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Seeing is believing. Look what happened when the New Wave PIC was put to the test on the streets of San Francisco.
All right, this is going to blow your mind. This is the Precision Induction Cooktop. And it is portable, eco-friendly. It saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of time. Wow. Cooking time is cut in half. Do you see that the water's boiling there? The great thing about induction cooking is it only heats the part of the pot that is magnetic, so everything else stays cool. So watch this. Everybody put your hands on it. Hot? No, it just heats the magnetic part of the pot. This is at 110. You can leave it at 110 and it won't get gloppy, it won't get stale, it won't harden.
And you don't have to be a big chef to cook. I don't have time to cook. This would be great.
Exactly. This makes you look like an actual good chef. It's temperature controlled. So I pop my fried chicken right in there and I know exactly what temperature it's at. And if you go down 10 degrees, boom, drops just like that. Can you do that on a gas range? No, absolutely not at all. This is temperature controlled so you don't overcook it, you don't undercook it.
I love the temperature control. I can cook meat without drying it out.
That's amazing. What do you think? Nice and crispy?
You can fry, you can simmer, you can steam, you can fondue, you can do everything with this. I love it.
It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I love that if you take the pot off of the top, it stops, and that the handles were cool. That's really amazing.
And you know what the great thing is, you guys? It's portable. You can take this whole thing over to the table, plop it down, and it will stay at 110 right in the middle of your guests, and you can dip all day. Dip, dip, dip. Everybody dip. And the best part about it, you can grill on the table. Oh. What do you think about that? So it's raining outside, it's the middle of winter, you still get grilled food. Will it change the way you cook at home? Yes. The PIC makes everything so simple.
It looks like you ordered it from a restaurant.
It does look like I ordered it from a restaurant. That's because I'm a good cook now with the PIC.
Introducing the revolutionary Precision Induction Cooktop from New Wave, the leader in portable induction cooking technology. The New Wave heats up twice as fast, uses up to 70% less energy, and is safer than any cooktop. Best of all, the New Wave is the only portable cooktop that gives you precise temperature control with the simple press of a button.
It takes the human error out of cooking. There's no more guesswork in what temperature you're cooking at.
Make pasta in half the time. Melt butter with no chance of it burning. Melt chocolate to creamy perfection. Make sauces with perfect temperature control. Gas and electric stoves have hot coils and open flames which can burn you. The New Wave PIC transfers heat only to your cookware, so it's 100% safe. Look what happens with this egg. The pan is hot, but the cooktop is not. That's the magic of induction cooking.
It gets hot within 5 seconds, but then you take the pan off and put your hand on the device and it's cold.
Why crowd your kitchen with expensive, bulky appliances? The New Wave Precision Induction Cooktop is a complete kitchen all in one. It's your portable indoor grill, temperature-controlled deep fryer, festive fondue maker,